Can you imagine if an alien were to come from outer space? Now, just to pause for a moment, this isn't a discussion if aliens exist or not. Of course they exist. Whoa, relax. I'm kidding. I don't think they exist, but truth is, if you open up an art scroll Chumash and you've never read the English before, it does mention aliens. Just by the way, and you'll thank me later because if you don't know what I'm talking about and you open it up and you start reading it, you'll see it references aliens. Okay, I know it's not talking about those types of aliens. I get it. Imagine an alien were to come from outer space and they were to look at that big red sign, the octagon-shaped sign on the side of the road, on the side of many roads. It's big, bright red. It has letters on it. It says stop, right? But they can't read, right? And they're just observing what's going on. So they would never think it's a stop sign. Of course not, because who stops? Nobody stops at a stop sign. Okay, not nobody. It's a small percentage. I've heard crazy stats that it's about 70% of people do not stop at stop signs. They've become suggestions at this point. Now, of course, that's unlawful. And of course, you should stop at a stop sign. And of course, me saying this in this context right now is just my way of talking to myself. Or you got to stop at a stop sign. Okay, I'm going to try to do that. Right? But imagine if an alien were to see it, they would only see what people do, right? They would see, oh, that sign means to go. It means to move because they're seeing people just, every single car that passes by, they're just going right through it. But we know intuitively, because we took driver's ed, that a stop sign means you got to stop. You actually have to come. There's no rolling stop. You got to come to a full stop. And there's a value in that. We don't understand it all the time. I don't understand. There's no car coming. Why would I have to stop? Yes, but one of the founder of traffic safety, his name was Mr. Eno in the early 1900s. And he was one of these like forerunners in the traffic safety world. And what did traffic safety do? Well, it created more safety. I mean, if you could think about the amount of deaths that occur with traffic-related incidences is mind-boggling. But imagine even before traffic signs came to be, it was even more. So you need to have these traffic safety signs. You need to have stop signs, which tells you to stop. But then there's the other sign. There's another sign out there that you may have seen. It's called the no stopping anytime sign. Now, a typical yid who reads that sign, somebody who has a little bit of Gemara cup under their belt, they'll read it and they'll be like, I would have thought you're not allowed to park here anytime, comes along the sign and says no, stopping anytime, or parking anytime, meaning the sign is saying no to what you would have thought. You would have thought you can't stop here. You would have thought you can't park here. Comes along the sign and says no, stopping anytime. You really could stop here. So no stopping any sign. I've been connected to that sign. I'm thinking about that sign, and I think that it's very relevant to the Jewish people because we really live by this. We live by this no stopping anytime sign. I want to explain what I mean. At the end of this week's Parsha, Parshas Pekudei, the Torah tells us something fantastic. The Torah tells us that, and this is how Sefer Shemos comes to a close. This is how the book of Shemos ends. Ki anan Hashem al Mishkan yomam ve'esh. V'tia laila bo le'nei kol beis Yisrael b'chol ma'aseim. For God's cloud would remain on the tabernacle by day. I mentioned this before, but tabernacle is up there as one of the great words ever, all time. Tabernacle. Can't make this stuff up. And there was fire on it at night before the eyes of the entire house of Israel and all of their encampments. The Parsha, the Sefer Shemos comes to a close by referencing the Maseim, the encampments of the Jewish people. You ready for this? Rashi says something. B'chol masa shayinosim. In every encampment that they traveled in, haya ha'anan shochein b'makom asher yachnu sham, makom chaniason afu karei masa. The place upon which they camped is also the place that they traveled. Again, Makum Chaniasan, the place of their encampment, Afhu Kari Masa, was called a journey. So we see something incredible. The journey and the encampment is one and the same, which is ironic because journey represents moving, you're not stopping, and encampment represents you're stopping. What the Torah is teaching us and how Chumash Shemos ends is Masayim, that even the Chaniasan, even the encampments were a Masa, even the stoppings were a going, even the moments where we needed to pause and press the brakes, we were still moving forward at those crucial moments. In the Sefer Tam Vadas from Rav Moshe Sternbach, he says that this is the lesson that we close with. He says, Nira, Habir She'ein Hefsik Bavodas Hashem. We learn from this Rashi, who's explaining the pasuk, we learn that there is no such thing as a hefsik. There's no such thing as pausing, as stopping in Avodas Hashem. In the service of the Almighty, we are always on the go. No stopping any time. And perhaps maybe that's why you didn't have such a hard time stopping at stop signs. Of course, we need to, Dina de Malchus Dina, of course, we need to stop at stop signs. And we're going to see that this week's parsha, the pasuk that we just referenced, can be a makor for that even the moments when you stop, you're going. Even when you stop right, of course, no stopping any time. That's the Jewish sign. No stopping. We're always going in. Hafsik b'avodas Hashem. We're non-stop connecting and going. But even when we're stopping, we're going. Even when we pause, we're going. Even when we're finished with something, even when we make a seam on something, even when we have a Shabbos, a Yom Tov, even when we pause, even when we are experiencing a stopping, a Yid knows that he's going. So don't just run through the stop sign. You can be going even when you're stopped at a stop sign. Of course, physically, that means you're being safe and you're living by the law. Of course, that's what it means there. But in terms of our ruchnius, in terms of our lives, to be able to stop, to be able to pause, to be able to reflect, even in those moments, you're still moving forward because Ein Hafsik B'Avodas Hashem. There is no stopping in one's divine service. Resting is crucial, it's important, but it's a preparation, it's a mere preparation for the next journey, right? The Shabbos is what we build up to the Shabbos, and then the Shabbos is the Makar Bracha for the following week. The Shabbos is the Yom HaMenucha, the Shabbos is the day of rest, and it allows us to now be carried on through the next week. It's a pausing, it's a stopping, correct. But within the stopping, there is movement. Within the stopping, it provides, it's the hichatimsa, if you will, for further movements. The masa, the chania and the masa are one and the same. V'chein ro'i leben Torah, says Rav Moshe Sternbach, it's befitting for a ben Torah to know, she'asur lo af bimei ben azmanim, that even, a lot of yeshivas are starting to be off, seminaries. Even in the moments of Bein Hazmanim, a person can't be mevatel from Zmano, can't be mevatel from what he's supposed to do. Elo yonuach kedei hatzarech, rather, he's resting now, he's not in the confines of his normal yeshiva or seminary or wherever he is, but it's a rejuvenation, right? To be able to now get stronger and grow more after that. And as Yidden, I think that we're all connected to this. We're all connected to the no stopping anytime sign. But let's also be reminded that for the regular stop sign, it's important that we have this mindset, no stopping anytime. But even by a stop sign, you need to stop. Right? By Shabbos, you need to stop. You can't do malacha. You can't travel on. You gotta stop. But in that stopping, in that chania, in that encampment is the masa, is the journey forward. Because ein hafsek b'avodas Hashem, there is no stopping in one's divine service. And my friends, this really connects to the specialty parsha that we're going to learn this week, and that's the parsha of HaChodesh. HaChodesh represents renewal. It represents Hischadshus, literally. And that's really how we approach life, that there's no stopping any time. Every single situation in life has a new opportunity for growth, has a new opportunity to be Mekadesh Shem Shemaim, has a new opportunity to elevate the Nitzotei HaKedusha. Every opportunity in life is an opportunity for us to grow. And when we realize that, when we put on the lens of HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem to look at the world, that Rosh Chodesh, it's called Rosh, right? Rosh Chodesh, a new head, to be able to, in your head, look at the world with that fresh perspective of how am I going to grow today? How am I going to go? What am I going to do today? What am I going to do right now that's going to bring me further? Whether it's moments in life that we could tell, or it's quite visible that we're going places, we're accomplishing, we're doing, we're going, or even in moments when things are stopped and it's a zman of no malacha, and it's a little bit more quote unquote relaxed. We're on a vacation or what have you. Even in those moments when we're stopping, we're still going. We have to have that signage in our head. No, a yid, no stopping anytime, because we don't stop. But even when we stop, even when we pause, even when we reflect, we're still going. Even in the chania, even in the encampment, we're still going on the masa, we're still traveling on the journey. My friends, I wish you hatzlacha on this journey. I wish you hatzlacha whenever you are involved in the encampment and when you're involved in the journey, realizing no stopping anytime. You're always on the journey. You're always on the road of life. Hatzlacha, Rabbah.